Okay, till 1 more minute to go. Am I audible? Shall we start right now? Okay, so time is now 6:15. So I shall start the session. You can see the video in later way, right? So by the previous session we have completed the unit 1. Now we are going to see the unit 2, right? Which is actually C language, which is a imperative paradigm, right? So the first one is L value and R value. An L value represents an object that occupies some identifiable location in memory. R values are defined by exclusion. Every expression is either an L value or an R value. So an R value is an expression that does not represent an object occupying some identifiable location in memory, right? This is just a definition. Okay, so don't get confused. L value needs to have an address, and the R value must be a value. It can be a, it can be a word, it can be numbers, it can be float. So whatever may be, if it doesn't have any expression, then it is said to be R value. If in the L value there is an expression, right, it can be an R value too, right? Can you follow me? I think someone is coming. Okay, so if you can't listen to me right now, that's not an issue at all, right? So L value holds an address and R value is just a value, right? So this is an best example for L value and R value, right? Look into these 4 lines. Int I equal to 10. This is L value. Here the I represents the L value. 10 is R value. Okay, this is L value and this is R value. Look into these 2 lines of code. Int I semicolon 10 equal to I. It doesn't have any location, then it cannot be a L value. This is a L value and it can be an R value too, but this cannot be done in this way, right? Always in any program, the right content will be stored into the left variable. Here the process will be taken, right? Here just 10, the 10 value will be assigned to this variable. Say for an example, int I equal to a plus b. A and b will be added and the resultant value will be stored in I, right? Just to remember, L value will have an address in memory and the R value doesn't have any location in memory, right? That's the key takeaway. Nothing else to memorize in this session, right? Data types. A data type in C programming is a set of values and is determined to act on those values. Data type, right? In the previous statement, right, here the int is data type. So the variable I can hold some decimal values, not with the point, and after that, in that way it won't work. 10.0, right, it won't work. It can take only integers, right? I'm hearing like few sounds or noises, right, but no one is here. Data types, right? So integer is a data type, float is another data type, string is another data type. You are having integer, int, float, string, char, array, right, structure, pointers, reference, right, structures, unions, right? There are so many data types in C. Data type is actually used to mention the variable in which it can process the value, right? That's the thing. C provides various data types, right, which allow the programmer to select the appropriate type for the variable to set its value. You can use any kind of data type according to the value you need to use in that particular program. That's the thing. C data types are used to identify the type of a variable when it declared. When you are declaring the variable, you need to specify the data type. If you are returning some value from a function, you need to set a data type for that function. In last case, the type of parameters, you can specify various data types to the parameters, and it needs to be expected by a function, right? In the later section, we will deeply discuss on these things, right? But remember these 3 lines. Different data types in C. Built-in data types: void, int, char, double and float. Void means it won't take any values or it won't return any values. Okay. Int means it can take only integer 0 to 9, right, without any decimal points. Char, only it can take characters. A single alphabetic character can be handled by this data type. Double, it can hold more than the value of an integer. Float is another data type which can take decimal places or decimal values, right? 2.1, 3.21, right, 10.56. In that way it can take the value and assign to the float variable. The next one is derived data types: arrays, references and pointers. These are all derived data types. In this section itself, we will look into arrays, references, pointers, structure and union, right? In your syllabus only structure, union, reference and pointers are mentioned, right? User defined data types, that is the programmer can create their own set of data type using this kind of data types: structure, union, enumeration, enum, right? So this is the syllabus coverage, and first we need to get into array before getting to the original syllabus, right? The array is a data structure in C programming which can store a fixed size sequential collection of elements of the same data type. The same data type you need to remember. So what it can take is, it can hold same set of elements. You can declare an array of characters which is called a string, an array of numbers, array of integers, right? It can hold the same kind of value. It cannot hold any other values. If you declare as integer, it can hold only integers, right? That's the way it works. There are three types of arrays. One is one dimensional, and another one is two dimensional, and the last one is multi-dimensional. One dimensional means just it holds only one set of values, right? Say for an example, right? This is one dimensional array, right? If it moves like this, right, then it is said to be two dimensional. Say for an example, if you get into Excel sheet, you can easily understand what I want to convey, right? Here age and the column head is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? The first person is 0, second person is 1, third person is 2, fourth person is 3, and fifth person is 4. This is one dimensional array, and this is two dimensional array. This is A1, B1, C1, D1, and if you take this one, this is D10, and this is F13. So multi-dimensional means more than two dimensionals, right? More than two dimensions, which is cannot be seen in normal eyes, right? If you check it in Google, you can understand what is meant by multidimensional. So look into the images, right? This is multi-dimension. This is one dimension, and another one is this one, but it holds another dimension, right? So look into this one, right? I think this is a two-dimensional one, right? 0, 0, 0, 1, right? But it looks awkward. Actually, this is 0, 0, and this 1, 1, and this is 2, right? So if you take that like that, it will be only two-dimensional, but this is called three-dimensional. It can hold this part, and it can hold at this part, and it can hold at this part. This is called three-dimensional, and this is called two-dimensionals. 0, 1, right? 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4. So likewise, if it worked like that way, that's called two-dimensional, and this is called three-dimensionals. So on another example for three-dimensional: first dimension, second dimensional, and third dimensional, right? This is basics of data mining and warehousing, right? The 3-dimensional arrays. You don't have to think in an extraordinary way. This is very easy concept, right? This is how to define an array. This is definition. Data type, here example double. Array name is amount and the size of the array is 5. Okay, arrays can be initialized at a declaration time. Int age of 5 equal to, we are giving some values inside the array. So this age of 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, it holds 5 values from 0 to 4 with the same data type called integer here. Okay, initializing each element separately in a loop. We can initialize separately. Here you can see we are using a for loop and we are assigning n value to my array of n. So my array of n 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So the value is increased over here, n plus plus, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 will be stored inside the my array of n. Okay, so it looks like this. My array, right? So this is the line. So in loop it will goes to n will goes to 0 and the n is goes to 0. It stores like this only, right? So after the n is increased, the value get increased. The n value is get increased according to the loop. So here the n value is also increased. In my array of 0, the 0 value will be stored. In 2, 3, 2, 2. In 3, the value will be 3. So that's the way it works. Okay. So this is one of the program which is available in the given link in this PPT itself, right? If you look into this one, this same, right? This same is as the PPT except this one, right? In this line I have removed size of my array with the value 5 because if I put this one it doesn't work, so I chosen that way. Okay, okay, if I run this one it shows some error. Okay, so what I have done is I put 5 over here because 0 to 5 it will be work, right? So here if I put equal to 5, right, before I kept less than 5, so the loop works until it reaches 4. Okay, now I put equal to, so look what it tells, it moves on. Okay, so if I increase to 7, okay, sorry, if I increase to 7, the array won't work. Okay, because I have declared only 5, so I will change over here with 6 and again I will run, it won't work till the 5 value will work. So here my array of 5 can hold, okay, can hold 5 values. Okay, actually if you look into this one, it actually can store 6 values, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, the array can hold originally 5 values, but you can move on up to 6 values. Okay, this is the way it works. 1 2 3 4 5 6. So if you want to access a particular element, you can access it. Okay, but if you use this particular line in your code, I am copying from here and I place it over here. Okay, and I delete this one, and then I need to give a print statement. Okay, to represent A, and it's undeclared identifier. Okay, where it moves on. A equal to my array. Sorry, I think I need to declare it. Okay, right, it works. 0 1 2 3 4, it's in loop. Now the printf statement, the A value is displayed over here. If you want to show a little bit additional string, right, third value plus symbol. So third value doesn't work over here. Okay, I think the string is not taken in this compiler. If you want to add some content to it, you can add it, right? You can use Turbo C++ for better understanding. So the next one is structure. The structure is a user-defined data type in C which is used to store a collection of different kinds of data. In previously, we used to have the similar kind of data, but here you can keep different kind of data. So this is same as array. Okay, but the array can store similar one, but the structure can hold different kind of ones. Struct is the keyword which is used to declare the structure in C programming language. Okay, inside the structure, right, inside the structure we are declaring some variables, and that variable is said to be members of the structure. Members of the structure. So if you look into the union, this is same as structure. Okay, is just same as structure, but what is the major difference here is it can hold one field at any point of time. In structure it can hold any number of values, no issues at all, but in union only one field can be held at any point of time. That's the major difference. So why it's been restricted? What is the problem, right? What is the problem? There is no problem. We need to reduce the memory of the programming language, of the application. So we don't have to use the structure. We will go to union. Okay, in union only one field can be held. Okay, unions are like structures except it use less memory, so that we are using the unions. In structure we use struct, right? In union we use just union. As same as structure, variables inside the union are said to be members of the union. In structure we have seen members of the structure, right? Inside the union the variables are called members of the union. In structure, members of the structure, right? No difference, right? Everything is same. So that's why I shown both at the same time. So if you look into the program itself, you can easily understand, right? Struct a name is given to the structure, and we are, yeah, tell me, yeah, tell me, I can listen, yeah, I can listen, yeah, I can listen, yeah, I'm listening. Yeah, sir, the network is tripping, we cannot get on anything. Can we make up class for this lesson if possible? Yeah, okay. This session has been recorded, no problem, right? No issues at all. Okay, I will continue with my right, because I don't have a lot of time. So struct is a keyword, and this is name of the structure, and we are in this area we will define the members. So here it's a simple example, care website of 50, right? This is actually looks like a string, and this is another data type called reference. Okay, it's called reference, right? In the later session I will tell about the reference data types. Okay, so different kind of data types can be stored by or can be handled by structure as well as union. Okay, we will look into the two programs in the same program, right? In structure as well as union there is no difference at all. There we use struct, and here we are using union, nothing different. Okay, but if you look into this program you can understand what I am telling. Okay, definitely I will send the recorded session as soon as possible, right? Before 8 p.m. I will send it, no issues at all. Okay, I think he left. Okay, no issues. Okay, I think he is coming again. Okay, right, this is yes structure program and this is union program. There is no differences at all. Okay, we are having a preprocessor statements stdio.h string.h. Here we are having struct is a keyword, and this is the name of the structure courses. Inside we are having three member of the structure. Okay, members of the structure. Void is another data type, right? Void main. Struct courses. See, we are declaring an object for the structure named courses. Okay, here C is the object for the courses. Here we can see we are just copying. Okay, we are copying w3schools.in to c.website, the C programming language to c.subject. By using the object only we are accessing the member of the structure. Okay, so we are placing some value to c.price. Here we are accessing the value, we are doing nothing, right? This program is very simple. Okay, we are just creating a structure and we are declaring some value to the member of the structure, and then we are accessing the member of the structure. Okay, if I run it, right, it will give the values inside the member of the structure. This is union of the structure. So what's the major difference? As I already told, union can hold only one information at any point of time. Look into this program. What we have done is, right, here we initialized all the three member of the structures, but here we are declaring initializing, and then we are printing the value, initializing, printing the value, initializing, printing the value. That's the difference. Structure can hold any number of values at any point of time, but union can hold only one value at any point of time. So if I run it, it shows values just like this. So what I copy, right, I just already copied this one and I pasted over here. So look into this one, right. Now the value is changed. Okay, c.website holds w3schools.in, c.subject holds the C programming language, but if I print c.website, it shows only the C programming language. Okay, if I change it, okay, I am changing over right here. So that's the way you can see, look into your here, right, changed, right, the value is changed. You can easily understand. Structure can hold any number of information at any point of time. Union can hold only one information at any point of time. That's the major difference. Okay. So next one is pointers. Pointer is a special variable, right? This special variable can hold address of another variable. Okay, this pointer can address of a memory location which is for another variable. The address can represent another variable. Okay, that's the difference. Pointers is just same as reference data type. Benefits of using pointers in C. Pointers allow the passing of arrays and strings to functions more efficiently. We don't have strings directly in C. We can use only, right, pointers to have the string functionality. Okay. Pointers can pass the values inside the arrays in very easy way. So I will have a code in the later session, and I will share that code with you guys so that you can easily understand what I am telling. Yeah, it will be, I think it's in the second unit, right. I think I need to look into the syllabus first. Okay, this is your syllabus. I actually shared this syllabus with you guys already, right? Parameters, right? So parameter passing methods. In here we will deeply discuss about this thing, right? If I didn't cover it at that time, just remind me, right? So I will share the code with you. Pointers make it possible to return more than one value from the function. Okay, pointer is originally used to have address of another variable, but it also helps to send some more values, right? Other variable can send only one value, but these pointers can send lot of values at the same time. Okay, so pointers reduce the length and complexity of a program. Definitely it will do that, right? As well as it can increase the processing speed and also saves the memory. So this is the syntax. Data type star variable name. Okay, star with star letter. Okay, here we are declaring two pointers, one is with and another one is letter. So look into the coding. So this is the code int n equal to 20 and we are declaring a pointer over here. This is called actual variable and this is called pointer variable. This is actual variable and this is called pointer variable. So pointer equal to ampersand n. We are storing the address of the variable, okay, address of the variable to the pointer. Now the pointer can keep the address of n, so we can directly access the value using n, otherwise you can call it by the pointer. So here we are printing the address of n, ampersand n, okay, we are printing the address of n. Printf, address stored in pointer variable, okay, so pointer now holds the address of the variable, okay, ampersand n and pointer which holds same value. Here you can look into this, same value is shown over here. Printf, value of star pointer variable, okay, if I called star pntr, it shows the value, okay, not the address, it shows the value. So what if I use the pointer over the address of n, okay, now it tells like 14, okay, I don't think what is been happening. Actually it needs to hold 20, okay, it needs to show 20, but here it's working in some other way. sorry sorry okay, this is not actually the pointer, right? So that's the way it won't work. Actually the ampersand, right, the ampersand, it's called address of, right, star means value of, okay, ampersand means address of and star represents value of. So value of pointer and this is address of n, this is just pointer pntr, okay, if you are declaring here, this is called pointer. When you are declare what you call using the same pointer over here, this is called value of pointer, okay, that's the difference between here and here. This is very complex one, this is definitely a very complex one, okay, it's not very easy at all, okay, actually the compiler is very delicate, so that if I do some more things, it's not been working, right. Actually you can call the value, right, using the function, okay, I think I can put it over here, right, ampersand pntr, right, now it shows the address of this variable, okay. What if I put a star over here, okay, it's also not working, okay, I think the compiler is so delicate. You can literally play with pointers, okay, there are a lot of things to learn in this pointer concept, so in later class we will discuss about this, okay, the pointers. I will stick on to this so that we can complete these concepts within this class. Reference types, so this is same as pointers, okay, string and objects are also comes under reference types in C. String, okay, So this is one dimensional array of characters. Okay, this is a mixture of array as well as pointers. Okay, so that's the way it works on. This is called reference types. So the next one is objects. So here you can look into this one. Even in the structure we are having objects, right? This is called object, and union, this is called object. This object can call the member of the structure or union. Okay, this is points to there. So this is one of the reference type. Okay, so this is the way it actually works. Objects, right? Each and every object is works under reference data type. Okay, there are a lot of things to learn, but by the limited period of time I can tell in this way only. Okay, so you can learn a lot of things. I share some links in the PPT, so you can look into the PPTs at a later time, right? The next one is string. So this is the combination of array as well as pointers. Okay, that's why it comes under reference type. So declaring the string, there are two ways. Okay, there are two ways to declare a string in C programming. Char name of 6. Okay, character. This is one of the way to declare string. And the next one is char star name. We are using pointers to get string. So here char name of 6 equal to cloud. Okay, this is initialization. You need to end with this null value. Okay, char name of equal to cloud. This can works in this same way. Okay, so this is the way it works. So if you run it, it just shows tutorials cloud. Okay, this is the way it works. Okay, I think we can complete this session right here. So we have discussed lot of different kind of data types. So kindly spend some time to learn these data types. This will be very helpful till the completion of your course, because this is the very basic things you guys all need to know. Okay, so with this we can wind up this class. See you in the next class. Bye.